Welcome back to WGNC Garage. We're going to be changing the engine oil on my Stagea today. I'm going to be using the Nissan oil. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is remove my oil cap, clean this outer ring out, and thread in the funnel. If you're wondering, this funnel I got from Z1. For any Nissan, really, they all use the same thread. So now, not too dark, but about time. So normally I do quite a bit of distance driving, so I put a lot of miles on the car. It's been about 10,000 kilometers, so decided to change the oil even if it's not fully wasted yet, just due to mileage. So now that I got those two out, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reach in through here and see if I can grab the engine oil filter, which I don't know if you can see, but is right here. Now, let's see. Yep, so there we go. Alright, so I was able to loosen it by hand. On the all-wheel drive version, which is what I have, the diff sits right there. So unfortunately, it's going to drain from multiple points from what I've seen. So it'll either come down across the front, but mostly kind of drips off the back in this frame area. So I'm going to put the oil pan more or less right here. I might have to adjust, but the filter is placed sideways. So let's start getting this filter out. There it goes. I don't know if you can see it, but there goes the oil, and it is not draining into the pan. There we go. Alright. So there we go. I kind of wait a little bit while it kind of drains out any excess. It will kind of just throw out quite a bit once you unscrew the filter. So I try to kind of angle it up immediately so that not too much oil escapes. There we go. Alright. So there's the old Nissan oil filter. Alright. And it's kind of hard to see, but somewhere hidden in the shadows around here is the actual block. So let's see if I can reach in and wipe that off. Alright, so I'm just cleaning up the surface where the oil filter contacts the engine. So that goes there. Alright. So let's get the new Nissan filter. Alright. And then get a little bit of oil from the old filter onto the O-ring. That way it doesn't get stuck to the block. Alright. So now, before I'll do that after. So I was deciding that maybe before I place the filter on, I'll clean the area off with a brake cleaner, but I'm going to do it afterwards. I don't want that brake cleaner going inside the engine. Now I know it does evaporate quickly, but still, I'd rather play it safe. Alright. The only downside to this filter is that because you're reaching on the side of the block and it's kind of like an awkward angle, it is quite difficult sometimes to get it started. in terms of thread. So it might take me some time to get this to thread. Jesus. My hands being slippery and on the filter also don't help. Alright. Guess my hand's not fitting through there with all these wires. Alright. So once I get lucky and thread this on, I shall be back. Alright, so now that I got it threaded on, I'm going to tighten it down. Filters do not require too much torque, so whatever you get it down by hand will most likely be enough. Alright, so now that that's there, let's see if I can spray that area clean. Alright, I think that's more or less clean. Not looking for perfection, more cleanliness than anything. Alright, so time to head under and drain the engine oil out. Alright, so as you can see where the oil does drain from, like I said, it comes mostly from this center point. I'm going to grab a can of brake clean, blast this off. Go and check the differential. There it is. There we go. Alright, so more or less almost all the oil has been cleaned off of the frame. So now I do have a Cusco drain plug that is magnetic. So mine is a 12 millimeter. So there we go. There we go. Alright, so before I wipe this off while this drains, I'm going to see how much metal debris is on the filter, on the magnet, sorry. Just a very small fraction of metal, which is good. So, definitely a good thing that it is not being caked in metal debris. I've seen some Stageas and people being concerned with what some people consider knock. Sounds honestly more like a tapping noise on the engine. Mine does tap, only when it's at idle at low oil pressure, and I'm guessing low oil pressure. But when it is warm, so when it is cold, it does not do that. So I did put this magnet in to make sure that no metal was being circulated, and I got very minimal, so that is a very good sign. As far as the torque for the oil drain plug bolt. I do have a service manual, a PDF version. Although while it's not directly for the Stagea, it is for the R33 using the RB25 DT. So I will look up for the engine, RB25 DT engine, what the torque spec should be for this while this drains. Alright, so I'm here looking up the torque spec for my RB25 engine. Torque spec for the drain plug is 29 to 39 Newton meters. If my calculations are correct, that should be about 22 to 28 foot-pounds. So I'm going to set mine to 25. Alright, so we're going to set, that's 10, 15, 20, alright, 25 foot-pounds on this. So now that that's closed, we'll move the oil out of the way. Alright, now that that's out of the way, we'll torque this down. Alright, 25 foot-pounds, and now all we have to do is fill up the engine. Alright, so as you can see on the mark, it is just under 5 quarts of oil that I drained from the engine. I am using the Nismo 540 oil from Motul. Every single time I've gotten lucky to be able to just pour this entire 5-liter bottle in, and it actually sits right at the full mark on my engine oil dipstick. So the lucky thing is with this thread-on filter, I can let that drain in, and once that is done draining, I will be back. Alright, so this is finished draining out. 5 liters are now inside of the engine. So now that we got that, I'm going to unthread this funnel. There we go. And make sure this is clean. Okay. And thread this on. Alright. So now the engine is still up on ramps, so it's actually leaning back a little bit. We're gonna check the oil level on it. So as we can see, it's a hair above the H, which is fine because once we actually start the engine, the filter will actually absorb some of that oil and it'll bring it down to its level. So let's go ahead and place the dipstick in once more time. Alright, nothing under the car. Alright, so now I'm going to start the engine and bring it down. Alright, oil pressure light went off, so I will bring this down nice and gently. Alright, there we go. the engine oil level. Alright, so as we can see, it's at the full mark, so no more overfill as the filter is filled up with oil. So we are exactly at full level with 5 liters on my Stagea. Alright, so the oil change is complete, and all we gotta do is wait for this old filter to drain out.